change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and I am in the process of getting myself ready to run up that mountain right there outside my window. And as I do this, I'm present today to something that I've kind of instinctively done, but hadn't been able to put language to until today, and it was a big breakthrough for me, so I want to share that with you. I've been dealing with a lot of anxious feelings, and when I say feelings, I'm not talking about a story. I'm not talking about any particular narrative about some threat, something on the horizon that is freaking me out, like taxes or a talk I have to give tonight. Instead, it's just a sense in my body. It's an experience that my body is relating to me. For some reason, my body has decided to send me the message of tension and angst of sorts. So my stomach is in knots, my head is really tense, my neck, and it's not something that wants to go away. So it's a constant state, a background hum. In fact, let me take that back. It's not a background at all. It's quite present, and it's trying to dominate my conscious attention. So this is something I deal with on a regular basis, and therefore it doesn't bother me or scare me. But what I noticed today is that in getting myself ready to get out there and run up that mountain, I need to describe steps in a process that take this current feeling into consideration. So first I need to acknowledge that this is what's going on in my body, and second, I have to create an action plan that allows that physical state to be the deciding force in what I can do. So it's not that I can't run up the mountain, but I can't run up the mountain in the size of step that I might normally take. So given this anxiety, what size step is going to allow me to move forward without increasing the anxiety? Because I think one of the things that most people do that really stops them in their tracks is that they create steps that add to the anxiety or add to some sense, some feeling in their body that is somewhat repulsive. And the moment they go over that tipping point, they recoil into coping behavior and then do whatever they can to procrastinate and avoid the activity that seemed like the tipping factor. But in reality, it wasn't the activity itself, it's how you communicated the activity to yourself. So for instance, Tim, you got to go run up that mountain. It's 6 miles round trip, climbs 2,000 vertical feet, and you're going to do it in big heavy boots in the snow. My anxiety right now is making it difficult for me to even get up out of a chair and walk across a room. It's that intense. So I've got to talk to myself with the listener being my experience in that physical state. So we have a talker or a planner within us. We have a planning self, but then we also have a feeling or experiencing self. And the planning self needs to make plans for the experiencing self, for the one that's currently feeling, for the one that's right on the edge of running away. So what can we do that keeps this experiencing self from becoming overwhelmed and tipping into coping or avoidance? It's kind of like dealing with a stray cat, which I've done many times in my life. You can't just approach them to give them food. You've got to spend a lot of time showing them that you're not a threat and allowing them to come to you on their terms and at their speed and within the size of step that they feel comfortable with. So what I'm doing right now is mapping out a process and a plan to get up that mountain, but communicating those steps in a way that doesn't trigger my experiencing self, which is currently in a state of. So I'm going to create a dressing process, which is really gentle and really slow and takes breaks to check in so that each step of the dressing process doesn't tip me into overwhelm. So take a step, are you okay? All right, take a step, are you okay? And then I'm going to walk towards the door, then I'm going to go down to my car, I'm going to sit in the car for a moment, are you okay? I'm going to keep checking in throughout the process. I'm not going to push, I'm not going to demand. And then eventually I'll find myself at the trailhead, and maybe I'll sit in the car for a moment, checking in, allowing myself to fill up a little bit before I take the next step. And I'll do this until I'm up the mountain. And then by that time, I'll probably be feeling pretty good. That's usually the case. And I'll come down without a problem. In fact, maybe about a third of the way up the mountain, things are really going to start to change for me. And I know this feeling will go away, because movement usually makes feelings like this go away. But if I go through the entire day without moving, they stay. And it's now almost 3 p.m. and I haven't really moved yet other than doing work here in the studio. So this feeling has kind of been gripping me all day long. And there's a lot of voices in my head that are telling me to run towards coping behavior, which I know is only going to make it worse. So by creating this really gentle space where I allow my experiencing self to dictate the speed and size of the steps, then I can get done what I need to get done. Maybe it's quite a bit slower than normal, but it doesn't matter. It got done. I hope there's some value in there for you, and please let me know in the comments below if you can relate to this or if you have a process that's different that also works for you. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, subscribe. And if you want to make this process easier for me, come on over to Patreon, $1 or $2 a month, and you allow me to do this more regularly. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye. One of the many trail creatures that I come across. Look at this woodpecker hole. That is amazingly engineered.